Okay. Hey guys. How's it going? You sticking around? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks for sticking around or coming. My name is Drew. I run a creative space and a website called MoHDI, Millions of $100 Ideas. It's been a depository for my ideas for about the past like 6 or 7 years. It's probably, I don't know if you've ever created something or if you ever come up with ideas, if you ever complete things. That's pretty awesome. I rarely complete things, and so I'll just like end up depositing my ideas into one spot, which is MoHDI, which has been the more successful of my ventures. So, since we're a little short on time, I'm just gonna blaze through some of this stuff. I'm gonna start off by talking about some of the ideas that have been generated from the website. The Security was created by my friend John, and Chris Soden is someone that drew up this illustration for me for the website. And basically the idea is that a lot of men's urinals don't have stalls next to them or barriers next to them, so you're standing next to someone, which can result in performance anxiety, I guess. And it ends up so, I mean, like that's kind of some of the stuff we're going to talk about, but I'm also going to talk about how and why it's important to develop dumb ideas, and I'm not saying this is a dumb idea at all, but I'm just saying that smart people should develop dumb ideas more. So, about a year ago, I guess, I started doing stand-up comedy, and I started doing that because I'm not a very good public speaker, and I figured the best way to go about speaking publicly would be to do stand-up. And so that's kind of given me legs, because what I really wanted to do was give presentations about ideas. Hello! So yesterday I threw this presentation together. Let's see. So, I guess I'll warm you guys up with a good joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
To get to the other side.
Get to the other side.
The chicken. Okay. The ideas that I create and I'm going to talk about are kind of fun ones, but it's more about the process of creating. And I don't know, how do you guys go about, like, if you get an idea or something, how do you go about developing your idea? Or do you write it down, like, whatever, or or does it just sit in the back burner? I mean, like, there's enough of us in here, like, how do you...
I write it down and then I find someone to do it with. If it's something that, if I find someone else interested in also doing it with me, then I usually go for it.
Do you talk about it a lot before you move forward?
Just
Do you feel like you complete the majority of your ideas that you develop?
I mean, I would say it's like a 60-40 split.
Okay.
Like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Wow, you must produce a lot of stuff then.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's collaborations. I just start like working with people to do stuff and create things, and I don't know.
I think that, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And do you guys have a similar experience with that, or what? Do we all come up with ideas in a similar way, is what I'm asking.
I'm an architect, so sketching is huge, but also probably 98% of your ideas don't come to full fruition because of the difficulty in executing.
It's interesting because, like, I use the sketchbooks or drawing a lot, but a lot of my ideas derive from other things that I'll see just while walking around. I think walking around helps me a lot. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, just talking to people, I guess.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I like bullet points. What I do, but then I'm like, I have this thought, and I write it down, and then I'll bring it up to somebody else.
I like to do. I also, another thing I like to talk that I wanted to talk about is just absurdity and just ridiculousness. and how sometimes developing something that's silly or just plain ridiculous really helps with the evolution of good ideas that can be applicable to actual useful things. And I wish I had a good example of that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Now I want to talk about Monster Cards. It's the new game that's sweeping the nation. Basically, everyone makes their own deck of cards out of a 4.5 by 3-inch piece of paper bag paper. I'm going to hand some out that you guys can just like look through. And these are examples of Monster Cards. And I will... I'm going to hand out some blank cards too. But Monster Cards is played. Here's the instruction. Oh wow, I only have 4 of those instructions, so I'm Monster Cards is played in a circle where someone will draw on the card whatever arbitrary thing, and they'll battle against the person next to them, and they will decide, the other people playing in the circle will decide what card trumps the other one. So someone might throw down two-tailed dog, and then the next person might throw down president.
Venus in first.
What's that one?
Throw down Venus in first.
Yeah, Venus in first, and then it's up to the other people to decide which card trumps the other one. So it's an interesting project. I didn't invent the game, but I do promote the game a lot, so I'm going to hand out some blanks at the end of the session too. The Monster Cards is pretty awesome. I like it. I like the game. It helps to... It's a good social interactive game that, you know, helps people open up a little creative side, and it's a good social game, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to talk about some ideas now. Freelance collection mob, and I'm just going to, and feel free to interrupt or ask questions about, I'm going to talk about a lot of ideas and stuff, so feel free to interrupt me if you have questions. So a freelancer collection mob is basically a concept where a group of freelancers, I'm a freelancer a lot of times, on a given day, they would get together with their other freelancers and go talk to clients about overdue payments or invoices that haven't been paid. And so it's just a concept about collecting money. A few years ago, I came up with a bumper sticker that's powered by gasoline. Basically, in Oregon, they have a lot of electric vehicles and or biodiesel vehicles, and they all have that bumper sticker powered by biodiesel. And I figured if I could tap into just a small percentage of the market of gasoline-powered vehicles out there, if it's anything like the biodiesel bumper stickers, I could do really, really well. Make, you know, there's a lot of stuff powered by gasoline. So,
did you have any takers?
Quite a few. It was a very popular bumper sticker, and you still see it in Portland a lot. It's interesting about how money pushes forward ideas. Like it takes money to do ideas and to develop ideas, but it's hard to get money for developing ideas. And so it's a weird balance. Like we need to have money, but things like the powered by gasoline stickers helps me. You know, it's a lot of work. It's probably more work than the money that comes from it. But I don't. If I knew how to make money, or if I knew how to market myself better, I would probably have money. Pasties for dogs and cats. This was a concept that I wrote about and put on the site a few years ago, and shortly afterwards, someone put something very similar on Etsy, and it was someone from Portland. And at the time, I was living in New York, so I always have this weird like, I wonder where that came from. But you know, people have similar ideas all the time. When I was in New York, I lived in Brooklyn for about 3 years. When I was there, I developed a lot of ideas about the subway. This is an idea about how to paint on a crowded subway car, and the basic idea is that you have a wrist palette that you can just like watercolor, because it's nice to watercolor while doing a lot of things. And anyhow, this is I like a lot of environmental ideas or concepts. So this is a recycled animal collars for like smaller animals. Comes from the 6-pack rings as well. This is a wall of innovators that they had up at this conference. So my innovation was that I just put my picture up there, and I thought that was funny. And the funny thing is the picture is me on the very same couch that is at the conference, so which was kind of fun. This is a concept for a static pencil, because a lot of times when you're drawing, the idea was instead of drawing with a pencil and moving your arm around to move the pencil around, what if you had the pencil in one spot and move the book around? And while the idea is it's ridiculous to think about moving a book around, the evolution of this idea can evolve to other things, because I think that it has its place to evolve to something that's bigger and better. I'm not sure what or how, but it's kind of like saying, why do we need for instance, like, why do we need our printer to be in one static spot? Like, what if we had a moving printer that could print on the wall and just print on the wall while moving, which isn't a bad idea. That's actually a really good idea, and print your own wallpaper. So like, a lot of ideas that I have will develop in parallel with other ideas, so I'll think about something like the static pencil, and that will evolve with other things. This is rock pants. I had this idea to like have a pair of pants that you could sit and rock back and forth in, which would be kind of nice. And that derives from, or walk pants derive from that, basically, because it would be fun to just sit in a big walk and rock. While I was in New York, I came up with a concept for group therapy, which is where people got together and talked about what they were doing, their projects and such. Let me check how I'm doing on time. We've got 4 minutes, so I'm going to cover about 50 things. This was a way to, this pencil in the cat eye was a way to remember phone numbers. I came up with a series of ideas for memorization. One was also textualization, which was a core idea that you associate numbers with textures, but it could be anything. So textualization would be like concrete, cement, brick, wood, paper, but it's about imagining a bowl that's made of these different materials, and it's kind of an interesting concept, and applied is pretty good. Let's see, I'm kind of pressed for time here. Facebook is kind of funny. This is about, okay. I don't do happy birthdays on Facebook much anymore, but sometimes I'll put an image or something that a lot of people get the same thing. I'm not a huge, Facebook is bittersweet for me. Subway kite, like, look how amazed these people could be if you could just, the subway's moving, why not put a kite out there? Utilize some of that apparent wind that was created from the movement. I really like the design of these Yogi Tea boxes. So if you turn them inside out, they turn into something that's pretty amazing. Ice cream train is a pretty interesting concept. This is a chart for success. The more ridiculous and elaborate your plan, the more successful it will be. This is a hula hoop concept, where 2 people can share one hula hoop. Here's another variation of that. Bun mitten, so you can just put your hand inside of a bun. This is an idea for about cooking, because pots and pans are confusing and make people angry, and the oven is just too hot. So the concept was that you could have a pouch that you could shove all your food in and put it in the dryer for a while. And I don't know which came first, but I also have, and fires are dangerous. I also have a concept about putting food into an envelope and sending it in the mail to someone, and then when it arrives, it becomes a final product, and you're like, oh, I'm ready to eat meal, you know, like that. The process of shipping it makes it cook, I suppose. I don't know how that works, but it's a pretty awesome idea. I like business cards a lot, but I think that the application of how business cards are nowadays, it's interesting how people use business cards, because we all have computers and smartphones and everything, and so I like business cards that people see and are like, wow, that's really cool. So this is a concept I did with a friend who was an animator, and you can see it's basically a, what are those things called? Yeah. I like time a lot, time and space a lot, so this is a camera application that I built that shows you 4 sequences of time. It's you in the present, you 15 seconds in the past, 30 seconds in the past, and like 5 seconds in the past, and 15 seconds in the future. I couldn't get that part working. So that's kind of, this is art by the inch, an idea to have a gallery that just sells 1 inch by 1 inch art. I have a lot of concepts about class war and about how society utilizes public space and things. So this is a coin-op seating bench that I had a concept for, which is a way to charge people to sit down. Some sketches. This is some time. I'm trying to figure out how to show time and space, and so I came up with these time clumps, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. This is wallpaper. If you have wallpaper that matches your dog's, okay, thank you. I'm going to just cruise through this. I do have a gallery space. These are some more time clumps. This is an interesting click and flick. I think that the kerning on that. I'm going to wrap this up because I could talk about this stuff for a while. This is a 2-horn honker to indicate there's an outward honk and an inward honk. This is a rebus. Does anyone know what this rebus stands for?
Happy birthday.
You got it. All right. There's a packet of bird. I also do these things called. I'm wrapping up here. Sorry. I do these things called boring conversations with interesting people, which is a series of talks where I just go on a walk. It's an unedited conversation with a variety of people that sometimes the conversation it's more about capturing time and space than the actual conversation. And I've talked with a variety of people in various fields. And,
Do you set out to have a boring conversation?
what's that?
Do you purposely try to make the conversation as boring as possible?
No. I mean, it's more about, like, since we're walking, it's a time and space. So it's like.
Is it morning or boring?
Morning.
Why is it boring?
No,
Oh, yeah, they are boring.
Oh,
Yeah,
boring.
I said morning. Yeah, I'm sorry, not morning.
Okay.
This is what my desk can look like sometimes. Let's see. I'm
Good
gonna.
day.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to cram in a few more things here. This is a crotch window, and you'll see these around town. And it's basically.
Oh my God.
It's basically a window where if someone's sitting right there at the window at the bar, because that's a bar right there, their crotch is right at eye level with you. You can see my eyes are like right there. Luckily, no one's sitting there when I took this picture. But I found a few of these crotch windows throughout town. History is what you make it to be. This is an article on Chad Chats, which is on the OPB website right now. That's me right there, describing the advantages of my wristband-mounted printing press at the first Chad Chat. I never gave a Chat on that. So, like, the cool thing about, like, we can create our history, you know, like, and it's weird, like, we promote ourselves, and only as, you know, noted as much as we promote ourselves, basically. This is a concept for pay-to-park bike parking, like a metered bike parking. On Easter, I put out some of these Easter eggs to surprise kids. This is the wristband printing press. Ping pong ball shirt. I like this concept. It's an endless slide. for kids, because I like, you know, like for a playground, you could just slide on this thing forever in theory. This is an idea for a sketchbook watch, which later on the printing press watch came from. But
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. So anyhow,
Plug your gallery.
yeah, that's about it. We'll talk soon. Thank you.